Hello there, and a warm welcome to St. Bridget's Church, Brykirk from me, Reverend Adrian. Many of you will know me from my visits to local schools. It's Advent, and Advent is a time of waiting and remembering how God loved us enough, as Christians believe, to bring Jesus into the world. But of course, that's what we celebrate on Christmas Day. In Advent, we remember all the stories that led up to that great event. If you look at the video I did this time last year, there's lots about other characters who we remember, like prophets of old and John the Baptist and lots of other Bible characters who we can read about in the Bible and in children's Bibles as well. This year, I'm just particularly going to focus on the main characters who are involved in the story of Jesus' birth in Bethlehem. But in that waiting, we find various ways to help ourselves, don't we? And one of those is Advent calendars. And that brings me to this special tree behind me. Now, I'm still getting it ready. So it's got quite a number of the 24 bags that go on it. This is special to me. This has always been put up in my own home every Advent, all the time that my children have been growing up. You have a bag for each day. A lot of them I've already put on. Some of them are lying near the bottom still, ready to go on shortly. And into each bag, we have put a character from a crib scene, a nativity crib scene, like you might find if you ever go to a crib service in church, and we'll have quite a lot of those in our churches this Advent and Christmas. So some of you might go to some of those, and you get given different characters from the Bible stories to take up and place in front of the crib. But I'm going to show you the particular crib scene that we've used at our home. So come with me and I'll show you now. This way. But when you look carefully at this crib scene, this nativity scene, I wonder if you've noticed there's someone very important missing. We've got an angel, and we've got a donkey and shepherds and sheep and goats, and we've got Mary and Joseph. We've even got a fire and a cat, as well as 3 kings and an oxen and a camel and gifts from each king. But somebody important's missing. There's no baby Jesus in a manger. What can we do about that? So imagine that you have been taking a bag off each day of Advent and taking a piece for the nativity scene out from that bag and placing it down in front of the crib every day of Advent. And each time you take out a character, you might want to go to a children's Bible or speak with a teacher or an adult and find out about that particular bit of the story, whether it be the shepherds or a wise man or Mary and the angel. There are so many good stories to read around the main Christmas story in our children's Bibles and the main Bible. And but eventually, of course, once you've done that 23 times, you get to 24. That's Christmas Eve. Of course, Christmas Day itself isn't Advent, which is why we only have 24 Advent windows, or in this case, bags on our Advent calendars. But in the 24th bag is the most important character of all. It reminds us that we have arrived at Christmas. So in the 24th, we have Jesus in his crib. There he is, held in my hand, in his crib, ready to go into our crib scene. Let's go and place him there at the centre of things. Now, you are most unlikely to have something exactly like this to hand, particularly as this was homemade in the end. You might easily have another kind of Advent calendar. You also, this Play People nativity set, some might have one, others might have something else, but many of you won't have one. So I just thought I was going to think of a practical way you could all make an Advent calendar. Now, this might be a little chaotic in how I show you now. I hope you'll get the whole idea. We sometimes run services called Messy Church that have lots of craft activities, and it's always a bit messy with loose ends, but I'll have a go now to tell you what to do instead. So the first thing, I need to put away this nativity scene. You know, the Christmas tree you've just seen, this is the nativity scene with the characters that were in my Christmas tree with the bags. But let's quickly put all this away. Now, but what's important is, and I can share this list, I can hold it up to the camera, but I hope I can show it on the screen as well. It shows the 24 items that there were in that nativity, one for each day of Advent. So we've got campfire, donkey, camel, cat, wise man 1, wise man 2, wise man 3, gift 1, gold, gift 2, frankincense, gift 3, myrrh. Goat 1, goat 2, lamb 1, lamb 2, lamb 3, sheep 1, sheep 2, shepherd 1, shepherd 2, angel, oxen, Mary, Joseph, and to go right at the centre, Jesus in the manger. There you go, there's your list. We can say bye-bye to this kit that's obviously only some will have, and to make sure it's something you can all have, you get some black A3 sheets or something very similar. And I've done quite a lot ahead of this video just to make things more swift. You will need pens, you will need scissors, you will need glue. You might need some felt tips as well. I haven't got one with me right here. Draw with a felt tip on one of your bits of paper a stable like that. Okay, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Draw that. Okay, then, this is one I made earlier. This is the more difficult part, but I have made the same as what we had before, haven't I? I have made a Christmas tree. Do you see it? And into that Christmas tree, all I did was I got a piece of cardboard that I cut out from a cereal box in the shape of a square, and I drew round 3 sides of it. You don't draw the first side, the fourth side, because that needs to stay attached to the paper. But I drew round 3 sides of just a little square of cardboard from a cereal packet. And I drew round that 24 times, having drawn the outline of a Christmas tree with a little star and felt tip on the top and a bowl at the bottom, so a bit like the one that I've got in my house but made out of paper. And 24 times I've drawn around the 3 sides of that little square card. And then I've written numbers 1 to 24 and mixed them up. You see, you mix them up, but I've drawn them all over. And then a tip about cutting out. Notice one there, yet to be cut out. It's got 3 sides drawn round. What you have to do is fold along. This is a really important bit. Just gently find where it is and bend it like that. Do you see? Then get your scissors, and while it's bent across where you need to cut the middle. There, cut it like that. And once you've cut a little cut in it, you see, because you've bent it, you've now got a little hole, and you can cut out. So if you've got a little hole where you bent it and folded it, you can cut along there. You might need to get an adult to help you with this, some of you, of course, but I'm sure they will. And then you cut down here. You cut the 3 sides, okay? For anyone, you just cut the 3 sides. Obviously, I'd be writing another number on here for one of my 24 Advent calendars, and then I would fold it back. But remember, don't cut the 4th side, the side that you didn't draw on, just fold it. And there's your next window. Now, the next thing to do is to put all this with glue, just gluing the corners, glue round. Take the top off a glue stick and glue all around the edge, just around the edge, not where the windows are, all the way round, and then you would stick to a backing piece like that. Okay, so you stick there, so you've got 2 sheets, a plain one and a backing one behind. Okay? And each window shuts and opens, and of course they start empty. But if you notice, because I've done things in advance, if I find a right one and I open some of them up, I'll find them in a moment, you will find that in some of mine I have already drawn a few pictures. Now remember that list I had a moment ago where I had all 24 characters. Well, you need to think of how you can draw all 24 of those. I've got some examples. Look, here I've already drawn a sheep. It's just in a black felt tip pen or fibre tip pen. Here I've drawn a shepherd. Here I have drawn somewhere else. If I have a quick look, I've got some others, 1 or 2 I think. Oh yes, here I've got Mary, for example. I think that's about as far as I got. Oh no, look, I've got a king as well there. But the thing is, of course, as well as drawing them in here, what I suggest you do each day, you'd have already drawn your 24 in here, and you decide how you draw them, and you fill up all those windows, and then of course you close them back down because you're only going to look at them when you get to the day of Advent that it is. But what you also do is once you open one, like you open Mary, you have a pen ready and you simply draw that day's character on your nativity scene. So, do you see, I've already started as if it's a bit through Advent, and everything that I've drawn in here, I've also drawn in here. And so then by the time you get to the 24th day of Advent, you'll be drawing baby Jesus in the manger, and it's as if you're ready for Christmas because we've put Jesus at the centre, at the heart of things. So enjoy doing your Advent calendars and your Advent crib scenes, all just on bits of paper. Have fun. So, Advent was all about waiting, and there were 24 days of that waiting, and so many great stories surrounding the birth of Jesus that we can all explore in that time, as well as being open to God, thinking about saying a quiet prayer, or perhaps you'll be planning some prayers in school to be part of your nativity services, whether they're happening in church or in school. But after our waiting, we remembered, didn't we, how with the crib, we were thinking, weren't we, about how Jesus, the baby in the manger, should be at the very centre of things, like he is put at the centre of our crib scene, our nativity scene. So let's just hear how St. Luke records the story, the birth of Jesus. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there she was, placing him in a manger at the centre of things. So after all that Advent waiting, yes, it's busy. Yes, there's so much to celebrate and so much fun to have and so much sharing to do in the time we give, in the gifts we give to others. But let's remember what's at the heart of Christmas. I've got those words here with me, and you might find if you look out in various of your local churches, they're using this heart of Christmas picture and words this Advent and Christmas. And it might lead you to some crib services or carol services. Look out for these words. But it reminds us that Jesus should be at the heart of Christmas, as does a famous carol that you may well sing this Christmas from such a carol sheet as this. Do you know the carol In the Bleak Midwinter? And let's just close with thinking this prayerfully as I read the words of this last carol. What can I give him? That means to Jesus, our loving God, come to earth as a baby. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? Give my heart. Lord Jesus, we thank you for the excitement of waiting in Advent, but above all, the joy of celebrating how we were able to welcome you to live among us. Help us put you at the centre, the very heart of Christmas, and indeed our own lives. Help us know that you, our God of love, are with us at Christmas and always. Amen. May I wish you both a blessed Advent and Christmas. God bless. See you again soon. If you're interested in coming along to a crib service, a carol service at any of our Grassmore Mission Community churches, do look out for the At the Heart of Christmas symbol shown here, and also look on the Grassmore Mission Community websites. Note that there's a couple of website addresses shown here. You'd be so welcome at any of our services in any of our churches. We look forward to seeing you and greeting people of all ages this Christmas.